Welcome to the Minister to the House here today. It is great to hear an update on the technological university agendas, Minister. And I suppose as Fine Gael spokesperson, Seanad spokesperson for further and higher education, research, innovation and science, I'm delighted to see the progress you've achieved to date with your officials as well in this brand new department. I mean, quite exciting to be starting off with nothing that has gone before, and it's wide open for everything for you to achieve. And the goals and what you've set here, it is going to be an amazing achievement, and it will take time, but it is amazing to see it happening. The TU in Dublin, as you mentioned, bringing together the DIT, Blanchardstown and Tala. I mean, Cork and Tralee for the Munster TU. That's 6 campuses. Isn't that brilliant? That's 6 campuses that are going to be university campuses. The same way... Sorry? Camp. Apart from that, there's also an application that's come in from Athlone and Limerick IT, and of course very close to my heart, with Athlone only been about 15 minutes away from Ballinasloe, so very, very important for the East Galway area, as well as the Midlands and the Midwest. I suppose with Connacht Ulster Alliance that's going to be submitted shortly, that'll again bring together the institutes from Galway, Mayo, Sligo and Letterkenny. And it is so important. I mean, along with, say, the Celta hospital group and different hospital groups across the country, you know, they're all linked in now to universities. They all have university status, you know, so be it the Letterkenny University Hospital, the Mayo University Hospital in Castlebar, or in Portiuncula. I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal that those universities and excellence has been linked back to the universities. And again, it's something I'd really like to see with the technological universities, that we're building that link, as well as with industry, with healthcare and with the hospitals in each of our regions. It will be transformational for regional areas. As you've mentioned, Minister, each town with a campus becoming a university town, real sought after status. And the government has committed total exchequer funding of 90 million under this fund, as you mentioned, through the HEA under the Transformation Fund. It is the right time to build up our excellence and research excellence across the country, which is so vital to attracting FDI. COVID-19 has had a huge impact on our community and on our businesses. Many people are seeking other types of work now, and we see the numbers currently accessing the PUP payment, for example. Students themselves over the last year have become very disconnected, perhaps from the joys of college life. And I was very happy to see the supports that your department brought through as well for students in terms of helpline numbers, and that text number 50808, where students, if anyone is feeling down, can talk and text to somebody and get some expert help. You know, our students today will be our leaders tomorrow, and we need to make sure that they are protected in this period, this vulnerable period. Third level courses in each region will ensure that we're building up our talent base and skill set to attract industries of the future, be it e-health, Internet of Things, big data, or of course facing the challenges right now that research has done, which is with COVID. And you see researchers coming together to look at, you know, possibilities. I know when it came out first back in March and April, they were working in NUI Galway to look at splitting ventilators. You know, like, could you access 2 people access 1 ventilator? It just shows that research is not in its ivory tower, that researchers were engaging immediately with communities, with society, to deliver impact immediately. So it's not something where it's always a case of waiting 4 or 5 years to see impact. We wish Ireland to be, and we're on our way to be, a global innovation leader. You know, speaking with Science Foundation Ireland or IDA Ireland or Enterprise Ireland, they'll always talk about innovation. How does Ireland become the pinnacle of innovation? And you look to countries like Singapore and you immediately realise that it's that engagement between industry and university and third level and excellence, and that is exactly what draws the best of the best to countries that are able to show that. And of course, Ireland has been able to attract multinationals across the world based on the excellence in our research and researchers in third level institutions. I suppose if I might just mention that we're well positioned in healthcare, medtech and pharma, building on the investment in existing universities through Science Foundation Ireland Centres of Excellence, where industry and academia work together to deliver results, and Enterprise Ireland Commercialisation Fund and feasibility grants and technology transfer offices, which translate our researcher discoveries into real-life application. We don't and we can't just perform excellent research. And these technological universities, I mean, the real key is that researchers and lecturers, people teaching, will have time dedicated to research. I mean, this is what's so crucial, and you'll always come across it when you're speaking to third level, that people who are teaching are not able to dedicate enough time to research. To be able to do that, we need to ensure that we can allocate time, and that those people will have, you know, dedicated time to do research so that they're able to compete, to attract the funding that they need to continue. I suppose if I might also speak to the fact that we have to, of course, develop the commercialisation, and again, Enterprise Ireland is very strong in this in the Institutes of Technology currently, and will be, I know, in the technological universities, that we'll be able to see the impact of research in society. And when we talk about commercialisation, there is a gap there from when we deliver research to when we actually get it out into the community. And if it's not being commercialised, it will never end up in the community, in society, where we will be able to see the benefit. And again, it's building the links between research, academia, and just life, day-to-day life and living. And if we don't see that, we're not going to be, we need to think about that it has to be funded, it has to be protected. If we don't see it happening through commercialisation of research, that isn't going to happen. So I do believe that that is extremely important, the commercialisation aspect, especially for these technological universities, which are very much at the practical, the practical need for industry. Again, as I've mentioned, our institutes of technology have real strength in this area of practical application and been responsive to industry need. The importance of international peer review, again, if I could speak to this, and looking to measure ourselves against international standards is crucial, absolutely crucial. Our graduates are very highly sought after in many industries, and again, as I mentioned, it's how we attract. But if we're not able to speak to and point to how we're meeting international measures for excellence, that has to be how we will judge ourselves and the success of the technological universities as a whole. Ireland attracts researchers from across the world, and I suppose I've had the opportunity when I worked as a researcher, a contract researcher, as a project manager on a European project. I got to meet nationalities from all across the world, and I've been very fortunate in doing that. 20% of Galway is cosmopolitan. And the people who decide to stay in Ireland here, the researchers that come from across the world, they do so because they're able to attract funding. They're able to do what they want to do, and they have the labs and the infrastructure. I suppose it's just that we have key agencies. We have the key agencies like SFI, Enterprise Ireland. We have, the Irish Research Council, who are really there to fund research. And I suppose that this will continue with the technological universities that we're investing in this. I understand the precarious nature as well for contract researchers, which is dependent on the funding of award, and particularly if we're looking at NFQ levels, raising them from 6 to 9. We're going to be looking at developing our PhD teams, our PhDs, our postdocs. They're all funded usually through European programmes as well as national programmes. So it is to ensure that we're able to attract that type of funding. I suppose, again, Minister, I would ask to look at measures to how we support our contract PhDs and postdocs to make sure we keep our talent here, and that we will attract newer talent, particularly now with the challenges with Brexit, I suppose, and the UK leaving the EU. The European Research Council Awards are one thing I suppose I will mention again, that we'd hope to protect the budget at a European level and to keep excellence here. And as you've mentioned, Minister, overall, that these technological universities will deliver higher education access, skills retention and creation, research capacity building, research-led teaching and socio-economic progress. In other words, embedding research excellence in our local communities. That strong education, both infrastructure, resources and crucially access, is a key tenet of what the Irish Republic means for every Irish citizen. That our technological and national universities will engage actively with the community in which they are based to share learning and build bridges with key experts and the community outside of the lab and the lecture theatre. And this will build wealth for our society in terms of access to factual, evidence-based research and information. It supports all of us in community groups, businesses and our regional areas to make the right decisions for our region. TUs will work closely, as you've mentioned, with the regional skills fora in their area to bring industry, employment agencies and local enterprise offices together. And again, TUs, I think, will be crucial in being responsive to industry need. If I can ask the Minister, I suppose, what further supports could be considered for SMEs to access research to become more innovative in their fields? Currently with the Enterprise Ireland Innovation Vouchers, we've SFI Industry Fellowships, and again with the Irish Research Council, I suppose the Industry Fellowships as well. Finally, and thank you for the time, finally just that the THEA, I suppose, Technological Higher Education Institute or Association, there was a reference there to Norway. They brought an expert in to speak to the model that was held in Norway for the last 20 years. And again, it was just the importance, clusters of excellence, allocated time for research and the importance of networking to make sure that these institutes and campuses work well together. 2021 will be a better year. We will have a vaccine thanks to research. In the case of Pfizer vaccine, it's going to be research from two German researchers that are of Turkish descent.
Thank you.